A weekend of cross-country racing that rounds out the Para-Nordic programme at these 13th Paralympic Winter Games. 12 sets of medals have already been awarded in the Para-Biathlon over the 1 kilometre sprint and 10k middle distances. Today sees the 12.5 kilometre individual events in our 3 classifications for men and women. Sitting, standing and vision impaired. 11 athletes in the field today with gold, silver or bronze already have the chance to make the podium in all 3 biathlon events, including the brilliant USA duo of Oksana Masters and Kendall Gretsch. Host nation China with 3 para-biathlon golds, 7 overall. Go looking for more precious metal. Ukraine have had a wonderful games and lead the medals table overall. And indeed, one of their athletes, Vitaly Lukinenko, a little later, goes for his 3rd gold in the men's VI. Well, the sun has been out this week at Zhangjiakou, but not today. Decidedly overcast up in the mountains.
Unusual conditions, really. The visibility is quite poor, so the lights are on as they were during the Olympics for the twilight competitions of biathlon. But here in the Paralympic Winter Games, first time we've seen the lights on at Zhangjiakou at this marvellous complex. And 4 of our field today were in the event 4 years ago in Pyeongchang, and Chu Bei was one of them actually. And we're looking towards the bottom of the field there, Masters and Gretsch, to see if they can get another haul of medals. Anja Vicker, who was 9th 4 years ago, but is in pretty good form here. It'll all come down to the range. 4 visits to be had there, and it swings on their fortunes with the rifle in hand. But Gretsch and Masters, good mates, great rivals, and once they're away out on the course, those friendly moments are forgotten. But you can see what good buddies they are as they prepare for the race.
Yeah, Gretsch, the world champion at this distance from Lillehammer 2021, and Oksana Masters, a medal as she may have expected in all events competed so far in biathlon and cross country. 3 silvers and a gold in the sprint. So this is an ideal way to start the program. 6 nations, 10 competitors on the start line here, and factored times will be a feature. Each of our athletes have the different individual sporting classification, and Shan, the silver medalist in the sprint event, a couple of misses in the middle distance that drops her off the podium to 4th, goes again here. And Zhai Yuxin 6th and 5th thus far, looks to deliver more medals in what's been a spectacular Paralympic Winter Games for the host nation so far in the Nordic events.
It's not cold by any means. Certainly the athletes are keeping the jackets on until race time. Anja Vicker just with the coat draped over the shoulders there. We'll see what she can do today. She, more than anyone perhaps, reliant on good results in the rain. She can be a bit hot and cold in that aspect of the biathlon, but it's temperature hovering around 2 degrees. The temperature is all right. The wind is, well, it's there, but we'll see in a few minutes whether it's a factor in the range. But we're right on the pip of 10 o'clock, so in 25 seconds we'll be underway.
Yep, just shy of 10 a.m. local time. We're 188 kilometres or so northwest of Beijing. And this is our first race on the final day of Para-Biathlon at Beijing 2022. Off and away then, it's Xu Beibei of China, 33 years of age, from Lin Yi. 3 finishes so far. 8th in the sprint, 7th in the middle distance race, and a cross-country athlete as well, where she was 8th in the cross-country sprint. 2nd is Kukla.
Monica Kukla is 25 years of age. And away she goes. 11th in the sprint, 10th in the middle distance event, and 12th at the Worlds last year. See if she can pull together the perfect race for her and perhaps force her way up into the top 5. That would be one aim, I'm sure.
A mighty 16 medals in para-biathlon for Ukraine. Unfortunately, none thus far for Anastasia Laletina. She's one of the babes of the squad at 19. Was there at the World Champs in Lillehammer, a pair of 12th place finishes. What can she do here?
Wang Xiyu, a 22-year-old, is away from Shenyang. 4th in the sprint, 6th in the middle distance, so she's just outside the medals and would really like to snag one today. Pretty good at target sports, having been an archer as well.
Next to go, Christina Picton, the 28-year-old Canadian. Shot clear in the sprint event, ended up 7th there, 3 misses. In the middle distance, she ended up finishing 8th and 6th in the cross-country sprint as well. Canada have had a decent medal haul so far. Picton off and away.
Chinese competitors comprising 40% of the field. Zhai Yuxin is 21, 6th in the sprint, 5th in the middle distance. And like Wang Xiyu, just needs a little bit of improvement to force her way onto the podium.
Silver for Shan in the sprint behind Oksana Masters. Pushed off the podium in the middle distance event was Shan Yilin here, 4th in that middle distance event. 2 misses in her 4 visits to the range. She's away and racing.
It's the calm demeanour of Anja Vicker. Looks completely unfazed by the occasion. Well, it's her 3rd Paralympic Winter Games. She was a gold and silver medalist in biathlon in Sochi, and bronze in the middle distance event here. If she can shoot something like 80 to 90%, she'll be in the calculation for sure.
She shoulders a lot of expectation. Oksana Masters, the 32-year-old American. She's raced in 4 events so far here at these Paralympic Winter Games. She's been on the podium in each of them. She won the sprint and thereafter followed 3 silvers in the para-biathlon middle distance and also in the sprint and long distance cross-country events.
Kendall Gretsch has got the game face on now. And the 29-year-old from Colorado, a gold in the middle distance, bronze in the sprint. Had 1 miss in winning that middle distance event when Masters shot 100%. Vicker had 5 misses. And let's see what is to pan out today. But the Americans going 9th and 10th. Last and second last away out of the gate. But will they be able to pull together 1st and 2nd at the end of it all? Well, another 50 minutes or so should tell the story as we watch Wang Xiyu making way around the course.
Yep, they're all away. You're watching the first race out on the snow here on the last day of para-biathlon at these Winter Paralympic Games in Beijing. This is the individual race, the longer distance for our competitors here in the sitting category. So Xu Beibei, who was first out, clears that first kilometre at 3:52. it looks as if Picton actually has gone faster over that first kilometre. Our athletes have factored times running at percentages. The clock runs at different speeds for different athletes depending on their individual sporting classifications. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 actually running at 100%. So their finishing time is their actual time. Laletina at 87 and Vicker at 87%. Kendall Gretsch as well at 96. So the clock is altered for those athletes. Bib 6, that's Zhai Yilin, 6th in the sprint and 5th in the middle distance event. And behind her, wearing bib 7, that's Shan, also of China, the sprint second place finisher.
Coming through in the quickest time so far through the first 1,000 metres. And there's not a lot of run in the snow. It's been a warm week and it's been gradually softening. Quite different conditions today, a little bit cooler, but not cold by alpine standards. Should you've not watched much of the event so far, just a reminder that this event is taking place at a unusually high altitude for the athletes, normally competing at around 900 or 1,000 metres above sea level, but this is 1,600, 1,700 at the very upper reaches of the cross-country and biathlon courses. But Masters, unsurprisingly, through in the quickest time, 12.7 seconds to the good. And Vicker, she's already passed Vicker, but they are different classifications significantly. Vicker's time factored to 87%.
We saw a brilliant finish from Anja Vicker, didn't we, to claim that bronze in the middle distance. She actually missed 5 targets in that race, so an extraordinary effort to skate those penalty loops and then get back in the race and just drop Shan down into 4th place. Great endurance from the American at bib 10. That's Kendall Gretsch.
So some 14 seconds down, and Masters has really flown out at the commencement of this race as the team officials come in and hand the rifle to the athletes as they come into the range for the first time. And Chu, who shot 100% in the middle distance event but was out of the placings,
And you give yourself a chance, don't you, if you're not required to ski penalty loops here. Chu Bebe with a perfect first visit to the shooting range. There'll be 4 visits to the range, so it's a real test, as we know, in biathlon of the 2 skill sets, the poise and the accuracy and the ability to drop the heart rate when you get into the shooting range and then up again with those poles digging into the snow. And pushing on with the power and getting back into the racing groove.
Kukla has discarded the glasses that she started the race with, and she settles in. It's interesting to watch the breathing patterns we saw from Chu as she got towards the 5th shot. Not so many breaths needed as she'd restocked with oxygen. Two misses. That's another couple of 100 metres to ski for Kukla. So for the seated athletes, the penalty loop is 100 metres and 150 for the standing athletes. That's an aspect of the sport that Kukla's still working on. Not as accurate as Chu. Perfect start for Picton.
Yep, she shot clear in the sprint event as well, but didn't quite have the speed in the ski. She ended up 7th place there, 3 misses in the middle distance event. And Shan, well, good first visit as well.
Wang.
For Shan.
Wang is clear. There's 2 misses for Kukla. Four out of 5 then for Leletina.
Yeah. And it seems that Masters has gone clear as well. So in control as Kendall Gretsch comes through. And we've got Anu Vicker as well. Yet to visit the shooting range. So Kendall Gretsch gets set here. She is the defending champion in the World Champs. Had a terrific individual race in Lillehammer just 8 weeks ago. By the way, the defending Paralympic winter champion, Andrea Escau, isn't here competing in Beijing. No messing around there. Off, lock and load.
That's how it's done. Brilliant. Yeah, and a second saved.
Vicker as well. Excellent start from her, Anya Vicker. Oh, no time wasted at all there back in the race. Well, she knows she's got to match the Americans here and able to do so. So Masters shoots clear. Well, Gretsch shoots clear and Vicker shoots clear as well. It's actually a good first visit to the range across the board, isn't it? We've got Laletina missing 1 shot, Kukla missing 2. Everyone else perfect.
Yeah, well, that's you've add them up. That's 47 out of 50 have hit the target in the first visit to the range. A very encouraging start for Vicker. That can be a weak point of her biathlon. But away she goes. Masters the one to catch. And that's not a surprise.
So that's how things stand then at the end of the first shoot. Masters, Gretsch, Shan, Vicker, Jai, Wang, Picton, Laletina and Kukla. An interesting point about the conditions, isn't it? The last 3 days here at Zhangjiakou, it's been positively balmy. The sun has been beating down. We were worried about the snow, let's be quite honest. Seemed to be diminishing in front of our eyes, melting away, but with something back approaching here, more traditional winter sport conditions and something approaching what these athletes will be used to performing in.
Well, we're told the month of March in these parts is very unpredictable and a wide range of weather conditions can arrive quite quickly, but Masters cruising around the course, getting the job done.
32 now, Oksana Masters. That's bib number 6. That's Zhai from China, 6th and 5th so far. Concentrates on the para biathlon events. We have plenty doubling up in terms of the para-biathlon and the cross-country, but it's masters to the tune of over 30 seconds currently, who is on course here, but it could all change around when we get deeper into the visits to the shooting range. She has a formidable palmarès at the Paralympic Winter Games, cross-country, a couple of golds from Pyeongchang, a silver, a couple of bronzes, and those 2 silvers in the para-biathlon events as well. 4 years ago in the mountains up at Alpenzia, and Kendall Gretsch as well, her great friend and rival. Well, they sort of compare themselves against each other, don't they? Gretsch in cross-country was a long-distance champion 4 years ago, and she won the sprint too in Pyeongchang, of course, on the podium as well 4 years on here in Beijing.
I just negotiated that hairpin left-hander that has caused a problem or two. It's very sharp, and the snow chops up and softens. It's caused a couple of balance issues. These course 5 laps of 2.5 kilometres to give you the 12.5. It's actually a few hundred metres short of 12.5 kilometres. Each lap is 2.412 kilometres, with a maximum climb of 13 metres, just negotiating one of the gentler ones there, and total climb for each lap of 58 metres. So it does ask a bit of the shoulders. When we get to the standing categories, the course is a little more demanding in terms of the climbs. Kukla and Vika coming through. Sits a little lower in the chair, as reflected in her classification of 87% factored time. Less core strength.
Yeah, Vika, she has been competing since Sochi in both the biathlon and the cross-country. Second visit to the range now, Jubei. No misses so far. Dead eye, super shooting again from Chu. So that's 10 from 10, and she's still very much in the hunt here. The challenge laid down to Masters and Gretsch.
That's 30 straight shots from Chu if you include the perfect record in the middle distance event. So she's got that side of it covered. If she can generate the pace around the course, then Chu will be a factor. That's still developing. She was around in the event 4 years ago. When I say it's developing, it might be a bit late for that to find new speed in the early 30s, but she finished 12th in Pyeongchang, did Chu. Watching Wang Shiyu and Shan Yilin.
7 medals all in the para-biathlon here at their home games in Beijing for China. 3 gold medals, 3 bronzes and a silver as well. It's been quite stunning, their performance in the Nordic events here. That's that duo from the home nation come into the range.
2.1 metres per second, the wind from the east. Only seems to come from 2 directions, east or west. More often from the west, not today. That's what we can say about the conditions. They seem pretty good for shooting. Everyone's on the money.
They're seeing some superb marksmanship today. Now then, 8 visits to the shooting range in the Parabiathlon events. All in for Oksana Masters here. She hasn't yet missed a shot. Absolutely brilliant.
I think she's drawn a little smiley face on the Beijing sticker, or is it there already? I'll just see if it's there for the other athletes. But on that red Beijing 2022 decal on the side of the rifle, Jai. Well, these targets are getting a workout, aren't they? And the red telltale flags are quite busy. I've got to acknowledge this is very good marksmanship. Kukla exiting the range. That's a better effort with her second visit. She shot clear, having missed a couple early on. 1, 2, 3, 7 have come through for the second shoot, and they've all shot 5 out of 5. Astonishing, really. Very hazy day across eastern China as we get towards the end of these 13th Paralympic Winter Games. And Gretsch has to match the others. Well, it seems they've all got that smiley face on that sticker. I thought Masters might have done it herself, but it's there for everyone, so give them a positive attitude for the racing occasion.
Well, that's what Anya Vika and Laletina, the Ukrainian, have got to contend with, more specifically Vika, with regards to potential medal placings. Laletina has missed a shot in her first visit to the range, but Anya Vika really has to do something serious when she visits the shooting range for the second time. And there she is with Bibe, such a dogged competitor. Anya Vika, 30 years of age now, has had a great Paralympic winter career. Multiple medals at world champs, two-time gold medalist in sprint and individual. Particularly memorable was that home performance in 2017 in Finsterau in Germany. So it comes in again, looking to match the excellent shooting of her big medal contenders, her big medal rivals here in the women's individual race.
She's doing it. Vika going well. We're just a bit over 5 minutes away from the start of the men's sitting individual event. There will be some overlap, as you might have witnessed in some previous races as well. Laletina. Everyone perfect in the second visit. Not sure we've seen that before.
No, the standard of shooting so high here. It's a fitting way to finish the Parabiathlon for these sitting athletes. As you just mentioned there, the men's race on its way. We're going to see an overlap of the finals here. We've got 6 races all told in Parabiathlon here. Day 3 of the Parabiathlon before cross-country takes over on the final weekend of these Paralympic Winter Games. Masters and Gretsch, United States 1 and 2, are doing it at the moment.
Generally, there are 30 shooting positions at the range, and we've got a field of 10 in the women's event and 20 in the men's. So that's the maximum amount perhaps you could have, even though it would be most unusual to have everyone come in at once. Well, that simply won't happen. But even so, there are enough shooting bays to cover the 2 events. As we watch Kukla make the climb. I wonder if the light today is favourable for shooting. It's certainly different to what we've had before. The towers around the course are doing their best to illuminate, and it's a little dull, but the light's very flat. It's getting some good results in the range, that's for sure, as Masters rockets around the course. Well, the one to beat at the moment. 34 seconds down is our second place holder, Kendall Gretsch, out of Colorado, where there's no shortage of alpine opportunities for sport. She's from Colorado Springs. Shan, and then Masters. Not short of encouragement. Shan goes through. The course quite exposed if there is wind. There are some trees around. They look to us like they're still in the growing stage. The complex itself is quite new, only a year or two old, but it's being used to great effect by the Chinese cross-country and biathlon teams. They've come through with some brilliant prospects.
They really have. It's been a remarkable games in the Paranordic events for the host nation China. The Gretchen Masters, I suppose you'd call them the usual suspects. By the way, these two American teammates, also the gold medalists in the summer Paralympic Games from Tokyo last year. They're quite formidable athletes. The Masters, 2 golds in road cycling. Gretsch is a para triathlete, 29 now. Kendall Gretsch, she lists Oksana Masters as a great hero, and here she is racing against her and wanting to beat her.
The athletes are finding that the sort of cross-training, if you will, competing in summer Paralympic events is very good for their overall fitness and maintaining interest in the sport. It's you can find it in the athletes in the alpine skiing as well. As Shan looks to continue her perfect record with the rifle so far. Chu Bei, by the way, has had a miss, her first in a long while. Deeper into the race they go, the harder it is to get out of that oxygen debt. Masters with a miss.
That's her first miss of the entire para-biathlon competition. She was clear in the sprint, clear in the middle distance. Could that cost her a big surprise there, given the form we've seen so far? I suppose she was due a miss. Everyone's human. But Masters now has to race a penalty loop in addition to the race requirements as we transfer back to the start line for the beginning of the men's individual race here.
Yeah, field of 20, 5 from Ukraine. We mentioned they've had a very strong Paralympic Winter Games, especially in biathlon. So we've got them coming from Kazakhstan and Korea, Great Britain and China, Canada. Martin Fleig, got to be a chance here, the 2018 gold medalist, in good form. And here's Usultov.
The 47-year-old Kazakhstani then, Sergei Usultsev, cross-country and biathlon athlete. He's been outside the medals thus far. 3 races so far, 15th, 34th and 14th, so needs an improvement.
Won Yumin of Korea. He's an interesting story. A couple of top 20s for him so far. Not likely to medal today, but he's represented 2 countries in Paralympic sport. He's played wheelchair basketball for Canada, moved there as a youngster, has come back to Korea, and is now representing that country here in China.
A para-athletic high jumper at home in China, Zhu Yongfeng, goes away next. Hasn't made much of an impact thus far in the Nordic events here. He's raced in the biathlon and cross-country. Best finish was an 8th in the cross-country sprint.
Callum Du Bois next to go. 25-year-old from Prestwick. Results so far for Callum: he's had a 17th in the sprint, an 18th in the middle distance event.
Five Ukrainians in this race. First to go, Yarovyi, the 32-year-old. And it's been difficult for him thus far in these games. 11th, a 20th and a 15th. That best place of 11th was in the sprint event. As we return to the women's race, and that's Masters, just trying to get a lead, get an advantage there on bib number 7, Shan. And Masters with that first miss in the entire biathlon competition here at the Zhangjiakou range, was required to race a penalty lap. So we'll be calling upon all her reserves of endurance here, and she'll need to go clear again on the final visit to the range.
Well, it's the mental strength too, have given herself that little setback, clear the mind, go forward, not look back. And at 32 years of age, she's got the experience. He's that tight left-hander. She lifts and turns and gets away from it pretty quickly, and deep into that aerodynamically sound position. It allows for greater downhill speed and no pushing, a bit of extra oxygen back into the lungs. Masters is quick enough to overcome that 100-metre penalty. It does add to the endurance factor, though. Just 100 metres, it doesn't sound like much, but it's time and effort.
Yeah, Gretsch, by the way, shot clear on her 3rd visit to the range. Picton 2, and now Anja Vicker has been perfect with a rifle so far. Really improved her shooting, hasn't she? Anja Vicker, absolutely brilliant. 5 misses in the middle distance race. She's still got on the podium, by the way. 3 misses in the sprint. That dropped her down to 5th place, but she's really at the races here. Anja Vicker, who goes clear. 1, 2, 3, 4 of our athletes in this race have not missed a shot yet.
So she's sitting in around 4th position, comparatively leaving the range for the 3rd time. 1:15 down on Gretsch. So even though she's shooting clear, it might be a bridge too far for Vicker to get up to the top of the podium. May yet medal though. Masters and Gretsch might still have it between them. There's a bit to go yet. It's a 12.5K race, as it will be all day for the men and the women, sitting, standing and vision impaired. Last day of biathlon competition.
So last into the range, visit number 3 for the Ukrainian Laletina. She missed the target on visit 1. Clear in the second set of 5 shots.
If you think that's a young face, you'd be right. She's the youngest in the field at 19, and is doing a nice job.
By the way, it's Chubei Bay coming in for her last visit to the range as well, as we're riding now with Oksana Masters. Looking for more success here. She just expects it, doesn't she? Those 4 races so far and 4 medals. Big visit here. Can't afford to miss, surely. Oksana Masters. So the athletes in Parabiathlon don't ride with the rifle on the back, handed them by the team officials, as you can see.
Wasn't in a hurry to get to the mat, just a couple of extra breaths to calm things down. Needs the full 5 to go here. That's better. That's what she needed. Out she goes. Full confidence again. So she's just got the 1 lap to ski, Masters, and the competition will be done for her in the biathlon, at least. And what will it be?
And Masters all in 50 shots, 50 targets aimed at throughout the 3 events in Parabiathlon here at Beijing, and just that single miss. It's come in this event, the last of the 3 distance events in Parabiathlon, as we return to the start gate of the men's individual race. So 2, 3, 4 still to leave the start gate. Pike next to go for the United States. Oksana Masters' partner, actually. Aaron Pike, 8th, 12th and 15th. Those 3 finishes in the events that he's finished so far. The 8th came in the biathlon sprint. A man from Champaign, Illinois. Will there be the sound of corks popping later?
Well, there was a 4th place for Vasil Kravchuk in the middle distance event. In the sprint, he was 10th. From Lviv, the Ukrainian athletes, particularly in biathlon, have been asked, and they've been forthcoming in their thoughts about being here while so much is going on at home, and they've obviously got very mixed emotions, but some very telling comments about how they want the world to know that they are proudly representing their nation. They want to see the Ukrainian flag flying. Taras Rad.
Made his name as an 18-year-old in Pyeongchang 4 years ago, where he won the middle distance. 2 more medals have been added to the tally for Rad personally so far here, as we return to the standings in the women's race.
Well, Masters has got some time to make up with Kendall Gretsch. Tends to shoot a little quicker than Masters. And can be just as accurate, if not more so. There we have it. Oh, is it to be Gretsch?
Well, it looks very much like it, doesn't it? Barring an absolute disaster here. Gretsch could well be adding her world champs, or to her world champs title. And a Paralympic, a Winter Games gold medal will hang alongside. So Kendall Gretsch has given herself the opportunity with perfect shooting.
Picton also doing a great job, but the time on the right there, her 38.50, is well outside that of Gretsch. Comes up smiling though. That's great to see mid-competition that they're enjoying themselves. Masters. Oh, this is going to be fascinating to see if she has got the speed to haul in Gretsch.
Sian 14 seconds down. Just a reminder that we're running on factored times here. So due to the athletes' individual sporting classifications, the clock runs differently for each athlete, making the results for different classes comparable without compromising, if you will, the impact of different types or severities of impairments on the competition. The higher the degree of impairment, the slower the clock runs. We're all set up for a really big crescendo finish here in the women's individual race over 12.5K, the last para biathlon day of racing here at Beijing 2022. Anja Vicker, no misses so far in the range.
There's been a poor shoot from Monika Kukla of Poland. She's missed 4. And the last visits to the range, everyone else is shot clear, so that's an unfortunate outcome for Kukla. Not a lot of movement on the flags now. If anything, the wind has dropped. And something for the athletes to consider as they come into the range. The wind is gone. Masters. Well, it'll be perhaps a high-risk approach to the hairpin bend she has to make to try and find a second or 3. Make inroads on Kendall Gretsch's position. Masters will finish across the line ahead of Gretsch, but then it will be the factored time of the other American that will be crucial. Negotiates that turn well. 3 or 4 shifts. I'm sure you can see at home that the snow is really quite soft, hard going, even more asked of the shoulders.
Masters was 3rd, behind Kendall Gretsch, the gold medal winner in the recent World Champs. Lillehammer in Norway hosted those World Championships just 8 or so weeks ago, postponed a year, delayed a year, more accurately, because of the COVID pandemic. And quite unusual to see a World Champs and a Paralympic Winter Games in such close proximity, but it certainly gave an opportunity to our top athletes to really get themselves conditioned to elite racing. Masters there, just coming over the brow, trying to pick up a little bit of speed. Indeed, the snow is a lot thicker this morning.
Well, we've been here quite a while. Those of us who've worked on both the Olympics and Paralympics, there's really only been 1 day of snow in the middle of the Olympic Games, and since then there's been no addition. And of course, primarily these courses are covered in artificial snow, and we look for Vicker to see if she can complete the job here at the range. Perfect.
Brilliant. Vicker with an absolutely perfect 4 visits to the shooting range. So Masters will set our reference time, and then it's a case of everyone else chasing it down. Sian, Chu, Gretsch, Shai, Picton, Wang, Vicker. But here comes Oksana Masters, a medal in every event in which she's competed. She has a gold and 3 silvers. What will it be here in the individual? 42.17.9. She'll be ruining that miss in the 3rd visit to the shooting range.
She's left it all out there, as they all do. This should be Sian coming in, and she'll be some 30 seconds outside, or 18, I beg your pardon. But, into second for the moment. Sian behind Masters.
Yep, Sian, who got the silver behind Oksana Masters in the sprint event, will have a keen eye on the clock from here on in. But Chu's going to come over at a 46.59. That's a long way down. She had one miss on the third visit to the shooting range. Didn't quite have the power or the speed needed over 12.5 kilometres of racing here. So it's Masters from Sian at present. But expect all that to change as our later finishers come over the line. So all eyes will be on Kendall Gretsch. 42.17.9 is the time to beat. She's got it in her surely here.
Well, coming through 4 seconds down on Masters at the 12.2 kilometre checkpoint. So there's not far to go.
Yeah, let's go, Kendall!
Slow snow there. And it could be Masters has done enough. What can Gretsch find?
Yeah, she has time to make up, in fairness, doesn't she? So the last 300 metres. Kendall Gretsch, world champion in the individual category, has to give it absolutely everything here over the final metres of the race.
Being chased home by Wang Xiu. China second and third at the moment through Sian and Chu Beibei, but those positions likely to change, especially via this lady's performance as Gretsch pushes hard. Love to make it a 1-2 for the United States, wouldn't she? But she'd like to displace Masters as well. But Masters has really flown round that last lap and may have been able to make amends for the one miss out of 20. Gretsch having been perfect at the range.
That's Wang in behind. And one or two men coming through as well from the equivalent race, the men's individual race, which is happening at the same time. But of course, we're going to focus here on Kendall Gretsch. 42.17. Not sure she can do it here.
She's too far from home, It would seem. It looks like it's Masters again. Gretsch pushing for all she's worth, but that finish line is just out of reach for her. Or is it? It's very close. She's giving it absolutely everything. Just outside, unfortunately, for Gretsch. Masters can breathe a little easier. Gretsch into second, just 6 seconds behind.
So it's America 1 and 2. Masters missed the shot. Gretsch was clean, but Masters was quicker. Well, more medals for Team USA here, thanks to the usual suspects. But we wait to see what finishing time Vika can produce. It's Sian for China in the gold medal position at present. We've had 5 finishers.
And now 6. Zhai comes in 5th position. I'm just thinking what a brilliant attitude from Gretsch. Crossed the line, looked up at the screen, saw she was second, but knew she couldn't have done any more. Shot 20 out of 20, raced as hard as she could. But her teammate, Oksana Masters, just that little bit better today. And already crediting her with the win. Someone's done the calculations and realised that she can't be beaten. And Picton of Canada will come through in 6th position provisionally. Well, the sheer power and pace generated by Oksana Masters, too good for the field in this one. It often is. Made up for the one miss. Just the style. Looks like she's made to do this. The very efficient push.
Are awesome. Wait, 49 for 50, both of you guys? Yeah. Oh no, wait, I was 48. Oh, slacker. You guys are amazing. Nice work.
Well, a very happy team.
Brilliant from Team USA. Sweeping the gold medals in the para-biathlon in the women's sitting category as we return to the men's race. So it's all hotting up in the men's individual amongst sitting athletes. Decent first visits to the range from Liu, from Colin Cameron, Scott Mina, Alexic, the Ukrainian. Du Bois has shot clear too, actually on the first two visits to the range. Now we're looking at Pavlo Bal, but he missed twice on his first visit, the Ukrainian.
Well, Liu Mingtao might be the one to beat. He's the middle distance gold medalist. Bal gets 5 out of 5. And can head back out again. Those telltale flags are busy once more. The wind coming and going. On the left there, the familiar figure of Colin Cameron, who's had success in cross-country events. As you will have seen many of the athletes doubling up in biathlon and cross-country, all of which are being held at the National Biathlon Centre at Zhangjiakou. And Liu Mingtao, is he on his way once more? Might well be.
Middle distance champion, Liu Mingtao, going really well there, wearing bib at 33 for China. They've won both of the biathlon gold medals thus far, with Liu Zixu in the sprint, Liu Mingtao in that middle distance event. So Knossen with that first miss of the competition. The athlete who had a breakout at Pyeongchang Games, absolutely superb in Pyeongchang with a gold in the sitting sprint event. Knossen, the 41-year-old, back in the race now.
So an important shoot coming up for Flag, having been 5 out of 5 with the first visit, and he's got his first miss. He is the champion from Pyeongchang. Just made it hard for himself, doubly so now. Oh dear. Oh,
struggling to control his breathing big time in that visit. 3 misses, and that is really tough going from here on in for the middle distance bronze, silver medalist, I beg your pardon, Martin Fleig of Germany. But indeed, that title from 4 years ago is disappearing in front of his eyes.
yeah, 300 metres extra to ski. It's like giving your opponents a 300-metre start, particularly, or if only they shoot clear, of course.
Yarovyi of Ukraine has missed 4 targets all in. Now we're seeing Taras Rad, who hasn't missed yet. Good going from the Ukrainian. Excellent shooting here. Taras Rad at 22 is one of the real stars of Pyeongchang 4 years ago. Silver and a bronze already here. Ten out of 10 for Pike. Excellent shooting there from the American.
We've got a did not start here in Steve Arnold of Great Britain, so that reduces the field to 19 in this men's sitting individual competition. So Pike a minute down on Liu Mingtao, exiting the range for the second time.
Yeah, still looking good at the front of the field for the Chinese. Liu Mingtao, middle distance champion. No misses with the gun so far for the 20-year-old. As well as that, a middle distance gold medal. He won bronze in the sprint. Part of this fabulous Chinese breakthrough story here at their own the Paralympic Winter Games. The talk was of getting a competitive squad, and they've been working hard at the training base up in the mountains. Getting there at 55 Nordic athletes, strong and resilient and well conditioned. And another one of those, Zhu, comes into the range. 2 misses so far, though.
The top 4 from 4 years ago are all in the field today. Martin Fleig, Daniel Canossa, Colin Cameron and Taras Rad. 1 through 4. Could be a changing of the guard today, though, with China doing very well. Liu Mingtao in particular. Rad might be backing up for a top 5 finish, though. Just out of the medals in Pyeongchang.
11 seconds. Rad will feel that that's doable. Certainly if Liu loses his aim in the next visit to the shooting range, but we shall see. Perfect so far. Liu Mingtao, and then bib 40. It's Taras Rad who's contributed to this terrific Ukrainian haul of medals. Wonderful to see. He was brilliant in Pyeongchang. He won the 12.5 race, and a 3-time world champion as well in para biathlon. Taras Rad.
There's a big shoot coming up now for Liu Mingtao. Picture of efficiency, just 1 short breath between rounds. Just checks over the shoulder to make sure all is good, and it certainly is. And here's Pike. We're talking about conditions today and a sudden rise in humidity. There's a chance of some rain later, perhaps, but the humidity does make a difference to events where the waxing of the skis is so crucial. That changes the nature of the surface of the snow, and the wax technicians are thinking all the time about what is the best combination. And to go from 20% humidity to 80% in a day, well, that's when they start to earn their keep. And it's starting to discolour the snow around the course at Zhangjiakou, likewise on the alpine courses. With the weather so warm, impossible to make additional artificial snow.
Well, Liu Mingtao, he actually missed 3 targets in the middle distance race, but no one around him was able to capitalise. Still won it by 46 seconds, and it's looking very, very good at the moment for a gold medal performance in para biathlon here at Beijing for Liu Mingtao. Bao next in the range. 2 misses on his first visit.
Ukrainian biathlon team was training in Italy and were commencing a long bus ride back towards Ukraine when conflict began, and there's well, very mixed feelings obviously for the athletes deciding what was the best thing to do, and they've made their way to China and doing their best to represent their country with pride and distinction. Knosson now.
Good shooting there from Knosson. He needed a pick-me-up. The athlete who had that breakout of 2018 left Pyeongchang with 6 medals all in. Former Navy SEAL.
Zaplatinsky, nice job. Out of Edmonton, Alberta. Had some top 15s in Pyeongchang in cross country. And the 9th in the sprint of biathlon 4 years ago as we joined Flag, and oh,
Shame.
he's having a wretched day now.
We saw that Flag was absolutely overjoyed to get on the podium, that silver medal in the middle distance. But I don't think there's going to be a similar outpouring of emotion at the end of this one. Taras Rad hunting down Liu Mengtao at the head of the field. Goes without saying that he needs to remain clear. And he does remain clear. Excellent shooting from Taras Rad.
It's astonishing how still he keeps his chest. There's not a lot of deep breathing going on between shots with Taras Rad. He just squirts them off pretty quickly and back out onto the course, but he's still 24 seconds down on Liu Mengtao at the comparative time.
Yeah, has to hope now that Liu messes up with those final shots and needs to maintain his own eye, of course, and concentrate on the rest of the race. Digging those poles in for propulsion as Pike comes in now for shoot number 3, the 35-year-old Pike, and partner of Oksana Masters, who's had fabulous success so far in Beijing.
Ooh, a late miss, unfortunately, for Pike. 100 metres extra to do.
They actually missed 6 targets in the middle distance event. Aaron Pike finished down in 15th place. And difficult really for him to make up time with this ski, so they have to concentrate really on shooting clean, not something that Pike has been able to do. It's Liu still who is in charge of this men's individual race for the sitting athletes. Second race of 6 on the final day of Parabiathlon at these 13th Paralympic Winter Games. The Zhangjiakou facility has been a wonderful host venue here. Has produced exciting racing, plenty of stories, and indeed massive dominance from the Chinese athletes. That is the case with Liu Mengtao in this men's sitting class. The Chinese have swept the gold medals thus far, and unless something really quite dramatic happens, could be a racing incident or a losing of his sightlines in the shooting range, it will be another gold for the host nation, because Liu Mengtao is in charge ahead of Taras Rad.
So in the biathlon medal table alone, it's China with 3 coming into this event. Liu Mingtao, Liu Xizhu and Guo Yuji. On the women's side of things, picking up the sprint gold is Taras Rad doing his best. Ukraine, well figured in the gold medal tally with 5 in biathlon, and a couple for the USA before today, and an additional one coming today for Oksana Masters will make 3. But Ukraine really being able to dominate many of these biathlon events.
So, big final visit to the range here for Liu Mingtao. He has this event in the palm of his hand. Hasn't missed a shot yet. You lock and load. Look at that. Up and away. He knows now that, well, he knows he's in control still. Just needs to keep it steady and bring it home for China.
Yeah, nothing short of a fall out on the course can deny him, it would seem. There should be a comfortable last few minutes to bring it to the line for Liu Mingtao, and a second gold it would be for him, having won the middle distance event. Liu Xizhu, his teammate, looks to be labouring a little. He won the sprint, so maybe the longer distance event not suiting him so well.
A penny for those thoughts out there, alone in the white wilderness.
Yes, the loneliness of the long distance skier. Shoulders burning, lungs screaming for air. And he comes. Well, so he's got a couple of minutes here between Liu Mingtao and Colin Cameron to get this job done and head back out onto the course. Doesn't look too distressed now. It's just slowing things down, coming to the range to make sure all is how he wants it for these 5 important shots. Liu and Liu, 1 and 2. Bit more energy now as he leaves the range. Bit more urgency in the push. He's over a minute down though on his teammate.
So, Rad can't afford a miss. Second place at present. Another Paralympic Winter Games medal beckons for Taras Rad. He's at a 100% factored time, so his finish time is the time with which he will be credited. Here comes his actual time. And a medal at present. In which colour will it be? If he can keep that eye on the range, it'll surely be a silver. Colin Cameron has done well, just the 1 miss, by the way, in 4 visits to the range for Cameron. But a little too much to do for the Canadian, who has a couple of bronze medals already. Look at the lead. 2:30 at present. And coming past Kravchuk there.
Just gives him the stare as he goes past it. Whoa. Kravchuk has a different classification, a 93% factored time for the Ukrainian. Now here's Rad. Needs to exit the range in under 32.16 to squeeze Liu out of second place. Gets it done quickly. Brilliant. He will be in second. The actual timing point is still a few seconds away, but it'll be under 32 minutes. Liu Zishu has been displaced.
Yeah, barring any racing incidents, that will be our 1, 2, 3. China, more medals. 2 of the 3 podium spots, and it will be a 3rd medal personally of these games for Liu Mengtao, as well as that middle distance gold. He was also 3rd in the sprint. That's the single appearance at the World Champs. That was 5 years ago in Finsterau, Germany, but there's been a massive improvement in both his performance with the rifle and his speed out on the racetrack. In the long distance event, he was 23rd at those World Champs, but as we know, the Chinese have really got their preparations down to an absolute T here.
Well, he would only have been 15 or 16 when he went there, because he's only 20 now. That's extraordinary. But Andrew Parsons, president of the International Paralympic Committee, when asked about the future of Winter Paralympic sport participation by China, is really encouraged by the fact they've got such a huge potential future. And drew attention to the fact that with perhaps 80 million people in China with a disability, that to attract them to the sport, to this lifestyle, to the active participation, that really we'll see a new nation fully emerging, as we are here, really. But to think ahead to Milano Cortina and the continued growth of the sport and the interest, well, who's to say what will be the outcome? It's been a massive lift here from 1 gold medal 4 years ago in curling to what we're seeing here as Wang comes down to the line for our first factored time, and 41.03.8. That'll do, he says. I'm done. A few darker clouds gathering around the hills of Zhangjiakou. And the athletes are starting to come in.
Yeah, indeed. You mentioned there the Chinese breakthrough performance in the Nordic events here. It's going to be 7 medals all in the Parabiathlon. That's going to be 10 by the end of this second race on the last day of competition, because of the bronze in the women's event and a couple more medals here in the men's. So it's going to be Liu Mengtao. Look at that lead, 2:34.4. Another stunning race from the middle distance gold medalist, the sprint bronze medalist. A triple medal performance, double bubble gold for Liu Mengtao.
Perfect at the range, fast around the snow. And doesn't want that flag just yet. Just let me get my breath. And we'll see what the minor placings are to be, but almost certainly it's got to be Liu Mengtao's race. We've got Taras Rad, who looks to be the closest of the pursuers. Oh, he nearly lost it there. The body tiring. It's a fairly relaxed tuck position he's adopting. I think he knows what can and can't be done. Perhaps feels he can't get near the time of Liu Mengtao. Mina coming through in 41.32.5, and Cameron into second for the moment at 2:06 down on Liu.
Yeah, podium spot at present then for Cameron.
He was third 4 years ago.
Third twice in the cross-country events as well, the sprint and the long distance. Well, Liu Mengtao's not hanging around. He strongly suspects he's done it, and we all know that he's done it. It's another gold for China.
Not sure if he's looking at himself on the screen or the times of other athletes, but Du Bois of Great Britain comes in 6th position at the moment.
Big belt to the line from Liu, 39.27. Well, that drops Cameron down to third. Liu Zixue, the sprint gold medalist, with a fast finish.
Still got Taras Rad to come in, though.
Yep.
To try and split the two Chinese at the top. Usseltoff, top 10 at the moment.
And Alexic, 7.5 minutes away. Puts him into 6th place at present. But all eyes will be on Taras Rad, now chasing down the time of 39.27.5 of Liu in 2nd place. So at present, China 1, China 2, Canada 3. Taras Rad here. Bib number 40 for Ukraine. It's been a phenomenal medal haul so far for the Ukrainians. Taras Rad has shot clear. Coming in ahead of him just is Shin, the 40-something Korean.
Couple of misses for him today. And now Pavlo Bal of Ukraine. 7 minutes down, and a few too many misses today. Here's Daniel Knosson, silver medalist 4 years ago, not amongst it today. 19 out of 20 nonetheless at the range, good effort. Now here comes Taras Rad. Needs to get there before 39.27. He'll do that, but he's well outside Liu Mengtao's time. This probably for the silver medal for Taras Rad of Ukraine in 39.13.9. I think he was well aware of his position in the field. Colin Cameron comes over to congratulate him.
Yeah, Taras Rad, another medal. Silver in the sprint, silver in the individual, but another gold medal for Liu Mengtao. He won the middle distance. He's now the individual champion as well. It's his 3rd gold as well of these games. 3rd medal all in of these games after the bronze as well in the sprint event. It was a controlled, it was a considered, it was a fast race, and he was precise as well with the rifle. A worthy gold medalist, Liu Mengtao of China.
You know, the happy voices of the Chinese team. Liu Mengtao and Liu Shizhu. Taras Rad will join them in the recognition ceremony shortly. We'll also have one for the women's event. 1-2 for the United States in that one.
Still finishers to come in the men's individual race. So Zaplatinsky of Canada, the 36-year-old, missed just a single shot. That was in his first visit to the shooting range. We've had 14 finishers thus far. Zaplatinsky and Pike, Kravchuk, Yarovyi, and one yet to finish the race here. So this is Pike coming in at about 43.20, 43.19 indeed, to put him into 9th place and push Pavlo Bal down into 10th.
He's looked a little out of sorts, Aaron Pike, in races we've observed. It just hasn't quite been there for him. Zaplatinsky, he was disappointed with his performances in Pyeongchang. He had a sinus infection that affected his race times. Coming into a position inside the top 10, Zaplatinsky. 5:15 down on Liu Mingtao's time.
So 3 more to come in then at the end of this individual race over 12.5 kilometers. Yarovyi and Crane on the podium with Taras Rad, and then Bal in 11th, Alexic in 12th.
19 starters in all.
Kravchuk, another Ukrainian. Vasil Kravchuk.
Seems to be getting mistier by the minute around Zhangjiakou. These are hard yards, aren't they? The last little climb to the home straight for Yarovyi. Five from Ukraine, 4 from China in this field, 2 from the United States, Canada, Korea, 1 from Kazakhstan and Germany. And Steve Arnold not able to make the start line, leaving it 2 for Great Britain.
Yeah, 4 from China, as you say, and 3 of them in the top 5, with Liu and Wang, who finished 5th in 41.03.8. Incredible conditioning and preparation for these games from the host nation. So Yarovyi comes home. Then it'll be mid 49.40s here for Yarovyi, and that gives him a provisional finish of 16th here, 11th behind our race winning time of 38.29.4 set by Liu Mingtao, and then we see Kravchuk and behind him Won come home for Ukraine and Korea Republic respectively.
Been a bit tough of a push out there for Won Yumin, who's not missed any targets but is well down on time today.
So Vasil Kravchuk comes in 11th place, just off the podium in the middle distance event in 4th. Won at 52.11. That gives him last spot in 19th place there at the end of this men's individual race. 12.5 kilometre competition, which has delivered more medals for the Chinese. Gold and bronze, with Liu Mingtao and Liu Zishu, split there by Taras Rad, who delivers another medal for Ukraine. That's their 17th in para biathlon here at Beijing 2022.
It's the field of 19. Steve Arnold not taking part today. Athletes from Ukraine, 11th, 12th and 13th. Alexic, youngest in the field, just in his late teens. should have a recognition ceremony shortly for the women's event. United States and China to feature. Oksana Masters and Kendall Gretsch 1 and 2. Shan Yi Lin finished third. Anya Vicker, who had a very good day at the range, just out of the medals. And then Chu Beibei, Zhai, Picton of Canada, Wang of China, Leletina, Ukraine, and Kukla of Poland. Oksana Masters, prior to these games of Beijing, hadn't won a biathlon gold medal, but she's put that right with a couple here now. And Kendall Gretsch will join her in this ceremony, along with Shan Yilin, who will pick up the bronze. Pretty intense competitor, Oksana Masters. She does like to get the result she's got in mind. She'll be pleased today. Missed the target, but was very fast, very strong.
Yeah, slight rearrangement of the podium at the end of the sprint event. The Masters won that. Gretsch was third, Shan second. So after the gold medalist Oksana Masters, there's now a silver for Gretsch, and the bronze goes to Shan. But Oksana Masters hasn't disappointed on the podium in every race in which she's competed here, parabiathlon and cross country, and nothing less than silver. Fifth medal of the games for Oksana Masters. Second for Shan Yilin. China's 8th parabiathlon medal at home here in Beijing. Gretsch on the podium again. Second, silver here in the women's individual. But another glory gold for the Golden Girl in the women's sitting category. Oksana Masters was simply magic again.
Born in Ukraine, the town of Khmelnytsky, not too far from Chernobyl, but adopted by an American family. It's quite a journey she's been on, but a very quick journey around the course today. He's moved to the United States at the age of 7. Away they go. Masters, Gretsch and Shan. Masters may finish the games as one of the stars in terms of medals won and mascots to take home. Is there room for them all? They're not small. I think the athletes are given some kind of baggage allowance, aren't they? One would think so. Shui Ron Ron, the name of the Paralympic Winter Games mascot. A variation on the famous and popular red lanterns. Should have the men's recognition ceremony for you shortly. Big day of racing at Zhangjiakou to complete the biathlon program. Still another 4 to come. Standing and vision impaired. Should be fun. Hope the weather holds.
Here we go. So we'll have 1, 2 and 3 recognised from the men's individual race amongst the sitting athletes. The second race to be completed here on the final day of Parabiathlon in the Zhangjiakou Mountains. And the two dominant nations on the medal table, Ukraine and China, add their respective numbers.
It'll be a close run thing at the end of the day, the Paralympic medal table for biathlon between Ukraine and People's Republic of China. United States also doing well on this last day and a few races to come, but Ukraine have found the conditions here very much to their liking, but so too China. Their familiarity with Zhangjiakou, the depth and length of their preparation and their athletes, numbers they can bring to it.
Yeah, and it's delivered a 5th bronze medal of these games. Liu Zixu, he won the sprint. 3rd here in the individual, and Ukraine have an 8th silver medal. Taras Rad personally has another medal. Also 2nd in the sprint, bronze in the middle distance. But carrying off another gold personally, Liu Mengtao after his triumph in the middle distance, and a 4th overall for China in Parabiathlon here in Beijing. He ran a perfect race He was quick on the snow. He was unerring in the shooting range. And he did it for China. Liu Mengtao.
Well, we mentioned he went to the World Championships, Liu Mengtao, 2017. Still only 20. He didn't take part in Pyeongchang. He's emerged from the pack big style in 2022. Should expect to see these men going around again. Milano Cortina, 4 years' time. Another 4 races to come at Zhangjiakou. Our standing category races are not too far away. We hope that you'll be able to stay with us and enjoy those too. It's a pause for the moment, though, at Zhangjiakou.